Welcome to another session with the Green World Group. Today's topic is defensive driving. Driving is a very big part of our lives now. It is a major necessity. We're constantly driving from point A to point B. We're commuting to work. We're doing errands, and it's the most common means of transportation. So, what's going on in the world? However, it is also a very big leading cause to a lot of injuries as well as a lot of fatalities. Let's take a look at quick statistics. So each year globally, around 1.2 million people are killed in road traffic accidents, and around 50 million people are injured. So what causes all of this? How does this happen? Well, around 90% of the conclusions, 90% of the collisions are actual human errors, right? We can usually say, oh, our car was having problems, oh, the road had problems, but in reality, it's actually the driver's fault. I mean, vehicles are controlled by man. I mean, even our AI technology has not even perfected that well, that it could go into self-drive. Yes, there are possible futures to self-drive, but till then, it's still our responsibility because we control the machine. The machine doesn't control us. So almost all crashes are caused by people who know how to drive, because if they didn't, then they wouldn't be in the driving seat. So who do we fix? Do we fix the road? Do we improve the vehicle? Sure. What do we fix? Well, we improve the driver. We provide knowledge. We train. We develop skills, right? So what is the job of a driver? To drive. But our modern day has distracted us in so many things. What most important is cell phones. Right? Our use of cell phones, our means of communication when we want to do it while we're driving, when we have our hands full, right? And that distraction, that split-second distraction, taking your eyes off the road to either things inside the vehicle or in your hand, which is your cell phone, and lives could be lost. So, what should we do? Well, why should we do it is the most important question. Well, we should do it because it saves lives, it saves time, and it saves money. So driving defensively is very important in these aspects because it does save lives, not just yours, but also bystanders or innocent people. Saves time because if you do you're trying to save time to speed up to get to whatever destination you want to get to, maybe work, or you give an appointment to someone. Well, if you didn't get into the crash, you would have had a lot of time to get to that. And most importantly, it saves money, from fines to repair costs to insurance costs and to even vehicle repair costs. And not only that, but if you do have the injury and you're hospitalized, that cost as well. So always remember, we need to drive safely because of these very important reasons. It saves lives, saves time, and it saves a whole lot of money. What is defensive driving? Let's define this in much simpler terms. When we say defend, what are we defending? Well, we're defending the space around the vehicle. As you can see in the image in front of you, we must keep a good radius around us to maintain safety. In case of maybe someone ahead of you has abruptly braked. So you have that distance so that you don't end up tailgating that, or you don't end up back-ending someone. And the same goes for the people behind you, right? Maintain that distance. If someone decides to tailgate you, well, give him the right of way. Well, it's not the right of way, but move to the side, right? Let him go. Control the space around your vehicle is what defensive driving really is all about. You must have an understanding of not just what's ahead of you, not just what's behind you, but also what's beside you. Keep a good radius around you, keep a good awareness around you while you drive. Right? It is possible. It is very possible. So, maintaining enough space allows you to understand the road, the conditions around the road, right? It allows you to have that visibility to understand the road as well as the traffic conditions, right? And anticipate towards what's going to happen, how you should react. It gives you the time to make that decision so that you can assess the hazard that you're approaching to. Again, the faster you go, the less time you have to react, right? So the space, the visibility, the time, these are very key elements that we must consider when we need to drive as safely as possible and to maintain the safety on the road. So how much space do you think we should keep? Well, these are questions you must always have answers to, right? What is the following distance? How much maneuver distance must you keep, right? And what is the queuing distance if you are on the highway or if you are stopping at the signal, right? We will discuss this in a lot more detail within this session, but for more elaborate detail and further explanation, feel free to join us for the whole full course at Green World Group. So when you're on the highway or when you're on the road, it is preferable to keep a distance of at least 4 seconds, right? The 4-second rule. This allows you to, well, maintain that distance as well as to give you that mental space as well as that physical space to make the maneuver that you would require to avoid an accident. Again, you have good braking distance, you have good maneuverability distance, right? And you have a clear understanding of how you would need to stop, right? Again, this aspect allows you to understand, well, it clearly makes it simpler if you maintain one simple factor. You should, when you're driving on the highway, you should maintain a distance so that you can see the tires of the car ahead of you, as well as a decent amount of the road mat, right? So that you can see the tar mat as well underneath that car. And yeah. So tailgating. Tailgating is when somebody or you are behind another vehicle, as you can see in the image. There is a lot of room. And the image itself shows how much room there is on both lanes, but yet this individual decides to follow this car as close as possible. Here, there's a lot of room for error, and you are put yourself in a corner where you might not get out of. If the vehicle ahead decides to make an abrupt stop or decides to slam his brakes, you don't have that much time. You don't have that much time to either make a decision to stop or to maneuver away from him, right? And even if you do try to maneuver away from him, there might be other vehicles that might be traveling at a faster speed on the other side of the lane, right? Especially in the fast lane. So it is too dangerous and it is illegal to do in many countries. What is maneuverable distance? Well, always keep enough space on both sides of the vehicle so that you could move away or change lanes, right? So on highways, do not drive in packs or clusters. Keep that distance, right? Keep at least 1 meter between the vehicle when you park so that you have that, well, from the front preferably, so that when you do decide to leave, you have that adequate enough space to maneuver away from that parking, right? As you can see, the queuing distance, when we stop at a red light, we must maintain that distance so that we can push forward or we can decide to drive when the lights come on, right? When you keep, as you can see in the first two cars, that distance is not adequate enough. We can't see the tarmac, we can't see the tires ahead. Keeping that distance allows you to move safely. Observing while driving is a very, very important part. 90% of the information used to make driving decisions is obtained through observation. Our eyes are key. We must keep our eyes as active as possible. Look around, predict what's happening in the future on the road. Look in the foreground, look in the background, look in the midground to get a better understanding, and scan as much as possible. Not just on the road, but also on the sides, also within your vehicle. Look inside mirrors, look around you, look at your speed, look at your gauges. The interesting thing is that we are designed such a way that when we stare at something for too long, our mind starts to drift in many thoughts. It is very advisable that we keep our eye movements continuous. We continuously look around, because the more we look around, we distract ourselves from being lost in our head. Because again, we have a lot of stress that we will be thinking about. There's a lot of unfinished things that we'd want to probably process. There could be a lot of mental distraction for an individual. So keeping our eyes constantly moving around our vehicle, understanding the space around us, looking in, ahead of the road, anticipating what's happening on the road, is very key. Again, communication on the road is very important too. When I say communication, what does that mean? Well, indicating when you're changing lanes, honking when necessary, but not in a harsh way, or not in an aggravated way, right? So what is our human vision? Well, as you can see in this image, we have the central vision where we're constantly looking forward, but we also have the advantage of peripheral vision where we could see from the sides. Again, we have a peripheral vision of at least 180 to 190 degrees, right? We can sense color, we can sense motion, we can also sense contrast, right? But when we speed up, this diminishes a lot of our sight, right? Things move very fast. So try avoiding that, right? Now, the most effective scanning techniques, as I have mentioned before, is forward scanning on the road, our continuous eye movements, our mirror checks, right? And also make sure you look over your shoulder for blind spots. Yes, we have technology that indicates us on our side mirrors now that there is a vehicle on the blind spot. That is great, but nothing beats our actual physical movement of looking over our shoulder, right? Hazard recognition. We must look, we must think, and then we must react. So most of the car crashes happen due to negligence and inability of the driver to detect that hazard early enough on the road, right? Why does that happen? Because of our distractions. Or maybe we're thinking about something, maybe we're talking to someone over the phone, maybe we're holding a cell phone and we're texting while we're driving, right? These are major distractions that our modern day, we're facing in the modern day. Early hazard recognition gives the driver the ability of time, right, to assess the situation, determine what are the safe options and immediate safe maneuvers that we must take, right? Again, every accident, every injury, every fatality is preventable. And the reason why it's preventable is because we can stop it from happening. We just need to be smarter. We just need to be trained better. We need to develop the skills to protect ourselves. So few types of hazards that I will briefly talk about is the actual hazard and the potential hazard. Well, Anything that causes you to brake or steer is an actual hazard, right? It is real and it won't change. But then potential hazard is something which is safe, but it could change into something unsafe, right? Like a pedestrian running across. Sorry, a pedestrian running across is an actual hazard. You will have to stop, right? Give the right of way for the pedestrian. He's on foot, you're in a vehicle, in the AC of your vehicle. The potential hazard is anticipating, okay, this road is curving. Maybe I should decrease my speed. Not maybe, I should, right? I see flashing lights ahead of me. Maybe I should indicate the people behind me with my hazard lights that, hey, I'm gonna stop, you should also stop because there is a hazard approaching. Anticipate. I'm constantly saying anticipate because it is our responsibility when we're on the road, not just for ourselves, not just for our passengers, but also for people who are also on the road. And that they could be pedestrians, they could be just normal people crossing the road, they could be people within other cars, right? There could be innocent people, there could be children in the car, right? They might be driving with complete safety, and yet your one maneuver, your harsh driving can take their lives or injure them. So try to guess what each driver would do next, anticipate that. Look out for closing gaps, watch for stopped vehicles which may move or may open their doors, right? Watch out, a flash, a brake light from a stopped vehicle is a good signal, right? And watch every pedestrian there is, right? Sorry. So what causes the accidents is, again, it is all controllable. We just need to understand and identify what these hazards are, what these mistakes we're making. Well, first of all, inappropriate speed. Right, going beyond speed limit. Well, there's a reason why there's speed limits on roads, because they've already assessed, the government has already assessed what is adequate for that road. And then they've told you in signs, look for them, understand them, follow them. Do not ignore traffic rules. Again, same rule applies. They've already given, they've already assessed the road for you up ahead. They've given you warnings. They've told you that there might be an animal crossing. With signs, there might be a sharp bend up ahead. Look for those. Look for stop signs. There's a reason why they're asking you to stop. There's a reason why there's a traffic light, right? Understand those, follow them. They're for our safety, not for anyone else's. Avoid distracting yourself. Avoid distracting yourself. Usually when we take phone calls, again, we have a lot of devices now. We can make it hands-free, but still people prefer to use the hand. And when we do talk, it's in our body language to have the other hand also go in a very heated distraction by having hand movements. So which hand are you holding your steering with? You must maintain two hands on your steering wheel for safety. For controlling your vehicle. The vehicle's not going to control you, you're going to control the vehicle. Driver tiredness. Understand yourself, understand how much sleep you have had. Don't get behind the wheel when you're tired, when you're sleepy, when you've taken your night medicine. Avoid this, right? Driver impairment. That's what you do to yourself. Maybe you have your music cranked up, right? And you have no idea what's going on the road, or you're not hearing what's out there. You're on medicine. You're under the influence of alcohol. Avoid these things, right? Have a designated driver if you still want to go. Take the taxi. Take the local means of transport, but do not get behind the wheel. And most importantly, do not be aggressive while driving. Road rage is contagious. Your anger could be transmitted to other people while you're driving. Be careful of this. Be wary of this. So again, distractions. We could be distracted physically. We could be distracted visually. We could be distracted by hearing things, by not hearing things. And we could be distracted mentally as well. Please understand these 4 different ways of being distracted. These are all our senses. So again, focus on the road. Leading causes of accidents are cell phones, our use of cell phones. Please stop texting while driving. Stop holding your phone while you're driving. We have technology. Yes, it is a blessing and it is also a curse. Depends on how you use it. Prevent yourself from driving while texting. You have an important meeting you want to attend, pull to the side. Right? People understand that. Please. So the characteristics that you must develop if you want to be a defensive driver: you must have knowledge, you must be alert, you must have foresight, anticipate, you must have good judgment, and you need to develop those skills. What do I mean with knowledge? Well, knowledge of the road, knowledge of the signs, knowledge of what is saving you, why these are, whose betterment is this for? It's for yourself, right? So knowing the traffic laws, avoiding collision, how to recognize hazards, how to act correctly in such situations, right? Be alert, right? Be alert. And when I say be alert, that means don't be drowsy, don't be sleepy, don't be under the influence, don't be impaired, right? So have 100% attention on the road, because that's where it needs to be. If you keep going into your thoughts, always remember, keep your eye movements constantly going. Look at mirrors, look at your side views, look around, look on the road, right? But stay focused. The foresight, anticipate, the ability to anticipate and prepare for hazards. Look ahead, start thinking with your brain, right? Size up the road and the situation as far as possible. Anticipate the hazards that are likely to develop. Look at pedestrians. They might decide to cross because you have a much clearer view. Maybe they're also distracted with their cell phones, but they have the right to cross because all they're looking at is the signal, right? So please look at also the weather changes, right? Anticipate the road. Again, we will talk about weather in much more detail when you do decide to take the class, the full course from the Green Road Group. Good judgment, right? Making the right decision at the right time. Don't fall for the wrong ones, right? Look for alternates in any traffic situation. Control your behavior. Do not be angry on the road. Avoid the road rage. And because if you avoid road rage, then you don't pass on road rage. And if someone is having road rage and he's crossing you, he's flicking you off, let it go. Let him go. He's not going to stop the vehicle to get at you. And even if he does, move away. Right? A smile goes a long way. So do not make risky maneuvers. Do not crisscross traffic. Do not undertake people. Right? Do it correctly. Indicate and overtake with maintaining speed, with maintaining the speed limit. Right? Make the right choices. You're not limited to choices and actions. You just have to have good judgment. What you can do, what you cannot do, or what you should not do. And then develop the skill, right? Because we ourselves need to improve. It doesn't matter how fancy of a car you have. You just have to develop your skills, right? So we usually blame our vehicles. Oh, we had a problem with the car. No, no. We need to develop ourselves. We need to build our skills, right? And drive properly. And what suits you properly. Okay. So with that, thank you very much. This was very short. Again, we could go on and we can go on for days and explaining road traffic as well as weather conditions, slippery surfaces, off-road driving, which you need to consider, being trapped maybe where there's no means of communication, what you should do. But anyhow, feel free to join us at the Green World Group. My name is Fasih A. Thank you very much. Take care.